Zero.
You were just recorded saying 0, you silly, silly boy. Welcome to Arcanautus Ascent, everybody.
Yo,
I have like 5 bites of my pasta left, so you're only gonna hear the tink tink tinking for a little bit of it.
Real quick, am I echoing for anyone? Because I can
Not
use
at all,
headphones.
my dude. We have
All right.
two secondary folks here today, one of which neither of which are appearing on the Roll20.
Oh,
They're
I
both
have
on
roll
the
two.
Discord right now. Vigilant, say hi, Vigilant.
Hello.
He's just gonna pretty much be watching. But we have a friend who may be joining us perhaps halfway through the session or a little earlier, depending on how things go. Say hi, Sebastien.
Zero.
that's all he says.
Twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a catchphrase.
We have
Remember
a mute
that.
and a guy who only says zero.
Here we
gonna
go.
great.
Alright, Vigilant, you can mute yourself if you are comfortable with doing so. I would appreciate it.
All right.
Alrighty, and we'll check in. If you
Put
need
it in the
anything,
chat.
just unmute yourself and just let us know, okay?
Or type it in the chat. We'll
Or
be able to
actually,
hear it.
yes, type it in the chat, and then we can I can read it off, or we can transfer that over into speaking.
Is he in the is he in the Roll20?
He is not in the Roll20. I realize now that Sebastien is not in it either. I will send him the link real quick.
Just put it in the Discord and they can both join it.
Yeah, that's true. Can I highlight this? Yes, I can. Excuse me.
Ed, while you're doing that, should I talk about should I mention Leon?
Leon, as you all may have heard or noticed over the past couple sessions, hasn't been able to make it lately. He notified us that he is not going to be playing with Arcanautus Ascent anymore, sadly. He was just like, oh yeah, just kill my character or do whatever or whatever. I have no comment, as we are going to see what happens with Leon eventually. Maybe not tonight, but probably definitely within the next 2 sessions.
If we've learned anything about Sky Knights is they apparently die really easily.
Where did you learn that?
The very last session, a Sky Knight almost died really easily.
Easily? I mean,
Apparently
it was
a higher
a
ranking
Titan.
one too.
A Colossus had to fucking swallow.
Just saying this right now, from probably Siegfried's and Zen's perspective, they seem pretty weak sauce right now.
It ate him and he lived.
But he lived because of us.
Anyways, yeah, okay, so you will be explaining that point in just a moment. Let me get some water, and then I will read the thing that I wrote for the introduction here.
So
You all stand before the 20-foot mechanical centipede creature that had been, or not creature, but machine of sorts, that had been, that had fallen out of the remains of this deep titan that you all had assisted in slaying. If we recall, Zen's notified the Tide Turner, the mage from the Veluvresa family, of its weak points, the Staves of Awakening, perhaps, or just anchors of some kind, these obsidian spires that ground these avatars or aspects to the material plane. And with this knowledge, the mage had begun just blowing up the shit out of this monstrosity before being shot out of the air by a stream of vile ichor, of this dark, sleep curse-inducing ichor. And between Zen and your cleric friend Zelphos, you had been able to revive and restore this mage to both awakeness from the removing the curse and awareness from Zen's good berries. With that, you had all you're all standing there now before this scene. The sun setting off past the tower, in the direction of the tower, and you all see the shadow streaking towards you all. North, south, east, west. Rises in the east, sets in the west. Never mind, it's to your backs as the sun illuminates the shining, glistening form of I'll just read the actual thing. The Knight Captain of the Skynets descends before the scene as the sun begins to set. He and his massive wyvern Gotan, illuminated by the sun at your backs. The wyvern's gray-brown scales shine, wet from the rain, and a large scar can be seen across the creature's jawline. With this creature's sharp, ever-shifting gaze, it is clear that the captain's mount is just as much a veteran of combat as its rider. And this is from the Discord, just to catch anybody up who didn't see it. The Knight Captain of the Skynets is descending towards the group, who stands before the impaled 20-foot mechanical centipede. As a reminder, I believe heat metal is still going, and so Halo, Zen's sword, is still glowing with that green sylvan heat. You all see the last few raindrops scatter off the wyvern scales and hear the great wings beating ever closer. Gabriel sits atop his Pegasus, both of whom are standing at attention, eyes affixed on their commander. The Veluvressa mage, this tide turner with the anchor adorning his blue robes, is prestidigitating the gunk and wood shards off of their outfit. Crasher Wave, Zelphos, and the Triton woman, who had all assisted you, seem to bear a nervous awe at the captain's approach. You all glance to the side and notice Deborah, who is beginning to slink back and make herself less noticeable, seemingly waiting to see what the Knight Captain has to say before making her presence known. As the captain crashes down before you all, it's a crash. His wyvern is heavy as heck. Yay! That's him. Anyways, as his wyvern crashes down before you all and lowers itself slightly into a more relaxed position, its eyes gleaming over each of you with a striking intelligence that you wouldn't expect from such a beast, with just the raw mass and power that it seems to hold. The captain himself, notes. The first thing you notice about the captain is his armor. Zen, in particular's eyes begin to flash a little green at this, both literally and figuratively, is a mithril plate mail with a short red cape over its left pauldron, bearing the sigil of the Sky Knights. It is well kept. Say again?
That is pretty fly.
It is well kept and almost spotless, as opposed to the rough and battle-worn face of its wearer, with small scars and rough-hewn mutton chops of black hair. The captain looks over you all, and his eyes scan the scene laid out before him. He raises his voice, and the deep tone calls the attention of each person there. You lot, you've done something impressive here. Each of you. Tell me what's happened. Gabriel, we'll speak later. Thiedlin, tide turner of the Veluvressa family. You speak up first. And the Knight Captain indicates towards the mage in the blue robes. The mage with the blue anchor emblazoned on his back speaks up, rubbing his eyes and indicating towards Gabriel, Zen, and Zelphos. Those three saved my life, first of all. Now, the creature that had begun rising from the sea a couple miles out, they had rapidly approached the shoreline. Its appearance and roar, Thiedlin this mage sort of gazes over at Gabriel, whose eyes are affixed to his captain, prompted the remaining civilians to flee in terror. I had attempted to cast my Dreaming Seas spell to calm the waves and the creatures of the deep, but my spell was interrupted by the creature's onslaught. Gabriel and his Pegasus step forward and salute the captain. These folks here also assisted in evacuating the civilians before the creature's arrival, Knight Captain. Knight Captain Cassian Polgris nods. His eyes shift over the party and their companions. What are your names, each of you?
My name's Zen. This is Siegfried, and that's Shylvie.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, and that's
Pleasure.
Halo.
The sword kind of does a little spin in place. The green glow is still suffusing its form.
Shylvie snaps her fingers and the green glow goes out.
Siegfried or Zen, you hear in your head, "Aw, I felt so powerful."
I feel the same way. That's a bummer.
Okay, and this is Gabriel for now. All right. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. You've all introduced yourselves. I see. Pleasure to meet you all. I saw the Titan from the distance. I had needed time to acquire the necessary armaments, but it appears that things were taken care of here. And he sort of raises his eyebrow, and a sort of wry smile comes onto his face. I am thoroughly impressed with what happened here. Now, out of curiosity, does anyone know what the hell that is? And he indicates towards the large mechanical centipede, the glowing orb that had once suffused its head, now flickering until just the yellow light seems to fade down to a very small point within it.
Zen raises his hand.
Shylvie does as well.
Oh, all right, you two. You, sir, with the sword. What is that?
So it seems like this thing was one of the at least tied to the beast. I think it might actually also be related to that giant shark that we fought in
I
the
heard
water.
about that.
Yeah. We at first
Same folks, huh?
Yeah, that was us. Hi. But yeah,
I was passed out for almost the entirety of the shark ordeal.
that's true. But yeah, the shark also seemed to have some mechanical bits to it. To our understanding, the giant beast itself is a well, I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this out loud in public.
There's no civilians present. The Salt Guard are telling people to stay in their homes for now while we clean up this mess.
Oh, okay, that makes it easy then.
Speak
so,
up, please. I'll hear as much as I
recent-
can right out. Say again.
So that should have been a bound aspect of the slumbering serpent that a cult from the subsea kingdom summoned to try to fuck up our shit.
He nods.
And we fought one before.
He
honestly,
raises an eyebrow.
It was much smaller, and we did not
It was.
Did
it
Shylvie just
complied
say
a
the
lot
thing?
more.
actually. Rather, we just.
Shylvie, I apologize. You keep cutting out. Please repeat.
Oh, yeah. We encountered one on the shore heading down to a Triton village. This was a group of peaceful Tritons who had almost no qualms with the people running the city. They were massacred by a group of Kuotoa who used their corpses to create an aspect of the slumbering serpent. And as you would probably know, something supposed to be something that powerful awake with the word slumbering in its name is an enormous problem.
The knight captain sort of chuckles a little bit as you finish that sentence, and he says, "You are certainly astute, yes. That would in fact be extremely concerning."
You saw the black stuff coming off of it, right?
And he kind of looks over towards the houses to the left of the area where the 120-foot line of ooze was shot. Little kind of drier bits of it now sort of seem to be flaking off and fading away, but he nods his head and indicates the stream that the creature shot out was visible despite the storm. It was quite the mess. What about it?
That ooze in particular had been corrupted by the poison that entered the water from the explosion of that seafaring ship that led to us fighting the shark.
Yes. The incident
If
with
it
the
had
blue
not been
scuttler.
corrupted by the ooze, said stuff most likely would have allowed us, a humanoid like you or me, to telepathically communicate with it so long as you were able to remain awake.
I'm sorry. Could you say that one more time for me? Did you say... literally, did you say that if it wasn't for the Chaos Rot, you would have been able to communicate it or not? I might have
Yes.
misinterpreted. Okay, so that's what you were
Literally
implying, sorry.
anyone would. Literally anyone who could speak Aquan would have.
Okay. You say that and he understands better than I personally understood, sorry. He kind of nods his head and says, so you've spoken to the previous one as well?
Yes, I was
And this
the
one,
who
obviously...
talked it.
And he looks over at the battle-worn Gabriel and Thiedlin, and says, this one clearly wasn't interested in talking, though, eh?
This one didn't have one of those inside of it.
One of...
And Zen points at the centipede looking thing, the robot thing.
Huh.
It was because of our prior experience with one of these things that we were able to send out the message to warn Thiedlin, or to give Thiedlin the idea to attack the spires that were binding it to that form. And from what we learned from the slumbering serpent, it does not want this. The members of this cult are being led to believe that it wishes to be awake, but it seems to be that it's actually the workings of some sort of demon that is currently leeching off of its body and trying to take control somehow. And the serpent just wants to stay asleep. It just wants everyone to stop, as a friend of ours recently pointed out, poking it.
The...
In a metaphorical sense.
The Knight Captain seems to be nodding, his brow ever so slightly furrowed. He seems to be taking note of what you say, very, nodding, every so often slowly. Seems to very deliberately be listening to the words that you're saying.
After we came out here and saw Thiedlin got taken out, after we checked on him, I was able to identify that there was one more spire within the creature, so I sent in Halo to try to dispatch of it before it can get further into the town. So, and luckily Halo got a good hit on it and knocked the thing clean out.
Speaking of which, in the streets behind you all is the obsidian spire, slightly cracked. That Halo... well, it's like... How long did I say they were 6 feet long? Yeah, it's 6 to 7 feet long, impaled in the pavement, or in not pavement, but in between the stones of the road.
Cobbled streets.
Yeah.
Totally gonna try to do something with that.
And the Knight Captain looks over at it and sort of nods. Oh, I see.
And after that, the thing just sort of fell apart, and that thing came out, and we were essentially done with monsters at that point, so we all jumped it and managed to take it down. Halo managed to pin it down before it could escape.
That is probably going to give us a lot of answers, isn't it?
All
right, then. Well, I've spoken to the
Ed, there's
Okay.
an echo happening.
Huh?
There's an echo.
La
Who's-
li lu le lo.
Slots-
La
slots
li
and-
lu le lo. I don't hear an echo.
There's a real
I
big
do.
echo. Slox N, turn off your vocals in roll 20.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Ed, stop.
I'm trying to figure out how to disable it. Disable.
Stop talking, dude. Just stop talking.
My ears.
Is someone listening?
Oh. Roll 20 just reloaded for me.
Same.
Yeah, it also did that for me.
Okay, we're good. It's
Okay,
not.
I turned off chat.
All right, solid.
I
We're
think.
good.
It might just be for me, though.
No, the echo isn't happening anymore.
Okay, cool. That means I must have at least turned off my audio.
I turned off my broadcasting to others and receiving and stuff.
Very cool. All right, so we're
Thank
all
you.
set.
Carry on.
Anywho. It's all good. Anywho. Oh, nutter butters. I've forgotten what I was saying. The night captain was addressing who? Yes, he was about to say. The Salt Guard captain should be arriving any moment now. I sent out word to her to come help with the cleanup of... Ah, there she is. And you all turn around, and from the direction of the warehouse district, you see, along with about 10 Salt Guard, a taller sort of figure, a half-orc woman in the what appears to be a variation of the standard Salt Guard sort of scale mail, bearing a sort of additional emblazoned patch over where, like, her heart area of the outfit. And the half-orc woman sort of, with this kind of like a short, almost buzz cut sort of hair, indicates towards the Sky Knight captain, Polgris. They indicate their head towards them and shout out, "Knight Captain! We've got the tarps and everything. Are we rolling this thing up?" And the Sky Knight captain says, "Yes, we're going to take it back with us." And he indicates towards you all, "None of you need to grab a tarp. The Salt Guard will take care of this. We are going to be bringing it back to the actual Saltmire home as a sort of bounty on which you may all collect. I believe our beloved heir, and his name is..."
Speedlin?
No. It's nobody that whose name I keep forgetting. Ultimus. Ultimus Saltmire may be interested in the folks who helped slay a Leviathan of sorts. The man's terrified of these sort of things, so I think that this will be a rather profitable exchange for you all. I, personally, as a veteran of many combats of this sort, can say without a doubt that you all proved something great here today, and that you all, hopefully, can be called upon in times when this city is in great need. You personally have my thanks, and the city's thanks. Now let's go see what the Saltmires are willing to dole out for such a bounty. Roll it up, men! And the captain of the Salt Guard shouts out, "You heard him, boys! Let's go roll it up! Come on! Get the dollies out!" And they begin to get some of the shipping wheeled platforms, and they begin to sort of, like, get the thing into such a place that they're going to be able to kind of caravan it up to the direction of the noble district. The knight captain stays grounded, but still atop his mount as he addresses you all again. Now it's starting to get late. I am sure you all are rather exhausted, but I extend an invitation on behalf of the Saltmire family, as I can do so given my position, and that I am sure they will wish to speak to you, especially Ultimus, to join us for a midday feast to honor our lovely heroes here that helped save the city from such a potentially devastating threat, which, and he looks around and says, unless there are bodies in the homes nearby, I don't see any corpses around, and that is a pretty damn good sign. And he nods at each of you sternly, like makes eye contact and just gives you all a solemn, respectful nod.
Nice.
Gabriel sort of like straightens up and like tenses, but like his hands are also shaking a little bit. You can't quite judge based on his expression what he's thinking, but he seems either excited or nervous. With that, I'll leave you all to sleep, rest well, and I will see you all at the Saltmire mansion when the sun is straight up in the sky tomorrow. That said, I will help escort this, and Gabriel, you will join me. I will help escort this device, or creature device, up to where it needs to go. Alright, Gabriel, let's go. Theodlin, you're free to go as well. I'm sure your family misses you. And the mage with the anchor on their back nods and re-emphasizes, I do just want to emphasize again that these folks did save my life. And he specifically looks over to Zen, Zalfos, and who else did I say?
When you said it earlier, you said Gabriel.
Yes, Gabriel. So Gabriel is otherwise occupied. So Zen and Zalfos he indicates towards. These two in particular saved my life, though they all contributed to the destruction of this beast. I'm sure the Veluvressa family will have boons for such wonderful assistance that was rendered here today. I will be putting in a good word for you all, and you may be receiving letters with various gifts or contact information by which you may receive such gifts in the very, very near future. Where are you all staying, if I may ask? Crasher Wave sort of pounds his chest and raises a hand. These heroes are staying at the Waves Crash. For free. Forever. The
best inn in town.
The mage sort of nods their head, sort of mumbles something under their breath that you all don't quite catch, but then raises their eyebrows and says, ah yes, the Waves Crash. All right, I will send the letters there. You can expect them within the next day or two, folks. I'm going to return home with the utmost expediency, as I am, quite frankly, almost dead and exhausted.
I hand him my pouch of good berries.
He receives it and begins to slowly pop them in their mouth as they walk. God, these are so good. Thank you. Thank you. Zen. I'll remember your face more than most. And they begin to make their way away. Everybody seems to be cleaning up. The Salt Guard are beginning to be deployed into various areas. A couple of sailors have been let out of the warehouse district and out of the general area. You see the sisters of the of the elven sea deity that I mentioned before, beginning to emerge from where they were hiding and begin to sort of push the water from the docks back into the sea. Now that the seas have calmed down, and they are beginning to sort of essentially magic squeegee all of the, poisonous water away Ahem.
Shylvie sidles up to Dana and whispers through a mouth in the back of her head.
Sorry,
"You might
Dana?
want to
Deborah?
Yeah, Deborah. Sorry.
Okay.
One of my coworkers is named Dana, and I get D names mixed up.
That's all good, friend.
He's also a
Deborah
scientist,
stayed in the back and sort of was listening off to the side.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go ahead and sidle up to her. As you approach her, she nods to you.
Deborah, you may want to get a sample of that thing for the research institute. Would you like me to help?
She leans forward, kind of looks down the pier, and points toward in the direction of where the research institute was. You guys see that a ship, one of the ones nearest the research institute, has kind of tipped on its side, and the mast kind of straight down the middle of the research institute and is about 10 feet through the top floor of it. Various bits of wreckage and rubble are surrounding the building, and she says, I think we might be working off-site for a while. But
Even
yes,
for
I
working
will
off-site,
try my best.
Will they?
Say again?
She sarcastically says, "That's going to be costly."
We don't have money, so hopefully there's a relief fund.
Shylvie pulls like half of her gold resources out of her shoulder and hands it over.
Oh, but when we ask for money, it's fuck off. I see.
How much gold is that?
It's like
About 1,000.
You...
Let me double check.
Whew!
Sorry to interrupt, but did you say pull out of your shoulder?
Yes, she's a goo person. She stores her gold inside of her stomach. And she
I told you, they're real gross. They're real gross. Did you not notice when they said their mouth came out the back of their head?
No, I'm afraid I missed that part.
Yeah.
They are an amorphous blob that essentially can transform. Their race tends to... they don't really have... they don't die by traditional means, but they do transform over the years. Eventually into what are essentially huge-ass goo dragons, but that is like thousands of years of...
If one manages to live for a millennia, they'll likely turn into a goo dragon.
Yeah, but again, that almost never happens because this ability is known, and you can ask Shylvie about this; she knows about it. But
hunt it down before it happens, essentially.
That I will just let you know now. Yes, it is heavily frowned upon for, or I shouldn't say frowned upon. It's kind of a little bit of. I hate to say it, but definitely some eugenics shit going on. Like, it's not cool. Like, the older, there is a significant bias against older Aseo because of the fact that they can become dangerous, to say the least.
Oh, so that's why all the Aseo we know tend to be shapeshifted.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Or at least the ones above the sea. Definitely the ones above water are pretty much always shapeshifted.
Yeah.
So Shylvie's pretty
Shylvie
reckless.
is basically the only one who openly...
Might have to look into this race more.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's posted in the homebrew chat on the Discord. You can look it up a little later. For now...
I designed it myself.
Yes, and it's very cool. Did you put the... Okay, we're getting distracted, guys.
Yeah, let's get back on.
Moving on. Deborah has indicated that yes, she will be attempting to get a sample before they move the mechanism. Does anybody else want to do anything as the Knight Captain and Gabriel are still present? Thiedlin just headed out. The mage just headed out from the Veluvressa family. The Knight Captain and Gabriel are sort of chatting off to the side as they are, the Knight Captain actually indicates for Gabriel to go and start flying around and sending off messages to the workers of various sorts of instructions and the like, while the Knight Captain does watch on from the ground as the 20-foot centipede creature is being they're putting tarps and blankets and like all kinds of opaque coverings over it to sort of hide its, a right true existence, while they are attempting, like several members are attempting to lift and then slide dollies or wheels underneath the, like for moving crates, but they're putting them beneath this centipede mechanism. Go ahead, anybody who's looking at the Knight Captain, and roll a perception check for me.
Yep. Definitely didn't pass that.
Anybody else?
One sec. I'd be at least have a passing glance at him.
Who's rolling d12s? Diggity dang. Zen, you notice one of his hands looks as if he might be currently holding a weapon, as if the weapon was invisible, but you find that weird, but you can't seem to glean any information from it beyond what it looks like.
That's fine. Can I go pick up the spire?
I mean, the thing weighs about 120 pounds, as it is just a solid, thick chunk of obsidian. You see some of the Salt Guard are sort of, like, attempting to, like, take it out of the ground. And
that's mine.
You begin to speak to the Salt Guard, and they're just like, we're on cleanup duty. We can't just let this... And the half-orc woman, the guard captain, comes over and says, what's the problem here?
That's mine.
Who says? Knight Captain said we're cleaning it all up. We're cleaning it all up.
Siegfried walks up behind Zen.
Okay. She looks at you. Your eyes are at an even level.
Damn, that's a big woman.
Uh-huh.
Our kill, our loot, ours.
You're going to be getting to visit the Saltmires tomorrow. That's where all this is going. I'm sure the family will be more than interested, especially with alter something. Frick-a-frack. I keep... Ultimus. I'm sure with Ultimus's inclinations, he will be more than happy to get rid of anything even remotely linked to this thing.
Well,
if that means giving it to you, I'm sure he'll be interested.
Well, I can show it to him when we get there, but for now, this is going with us.
Where are you going to put a 7-foot-long spike of obsidian?
Under my bed if I have to, but it's coming with me.
It's longer than your bed.
They don't know that.
Please don't do
She kind of
this
puts her
right now.
hand to her head, and she looks you dead in the eyes, and she says, listen, kid, I can't deal with this right now. Could you please... Thank you greatly for your service, but we need to clean everything up. This is part of it. We're just trying to do our goddamn jobs. You'll see it again soon.
Sec, I have to... Give me a sec, everyone. We all know what's about to happen. One sec. Let me just... What is it? It's a...
Sure, you can roll persuasion. I'll let you roll persuasion.
Oh, no,
if you
that's not
like.
what's happening. I'm rolling a wisdom saving throw right now.
Interesting. 12?
Yeah. Well, what would you say a 12 would mean?
You're also
This
inspired,
is
dude.
for his obsessive compulsion, right?
Yes, it is with his obsessive.
Okay. Well, you
You
know
are
what the
inspired,
little one
so-
turned into when the god bestowed it upon you. This big one, holy shit, could be
Yeah.
really, really something. She said you'll see it again, but you almost
Don't believe it at all.
don't believe her. Yeah, you have this thing in the back of your head that isn't Halo. That's like it's your own voice saying, "Nah, man, nah, we need this."
Think of the weapons we could make.
So
Think
that
of
is
the
what.
power.
So you all see Zen and Siegfried sort of squaring off with the guard captain. And you and her just kind of lock eyes for a little bit. Your eyes seem to flare up with green energy. As your eyes flare up, she takes 3 steps back and puts her hand on her short sword at her side. And she sort of, her eyes narrow at you. The guards who were the 2 guards who were working on, like, trying to unseal it from the ground, see her do this and, like, look between you two and sort of put their hands on their to their backs to, like, unsheath their spear, to detach their spears from their backs.
Did they notice the flying sword behind them?
Siegfried's gonna walk closer to them and just in their face.
You guys hear the tip of claws followed by heavy footfalls on the cobbles as you all turn your heads and notice that the Sky Knight Captain's wyvern Gotan no longer has the Sky Knight Captain on it and has begun to take steps slowly towards you.
Siegfried doesn't stare over. He's still staring at the orc woman.
Okay. All right. She is no longer looking at you. She looks over at the dragon or the wyvern, and she steps back and takes her hand off her sword and looks you dead in the eye, Zen.
She can look at me all she wants. I'm pretty.
Okay. Yeah.
Take a picture.
The wyvern. Are you just staring intently? The wyvern seems to be staring intently as well. It hasn't made any noise yet, but it's lowered its head to your level.
To whose level?
About your height.
I see.
It's about 15 feet away. You don't see the Knight Captain.
Can I turn around to look at where the spire is?
You turn around and you look to see towards the spire. Not much. You see a couple Sky Knights flying off. Maybe a Griffin, maybe a Pegasus.
No. The one that fell from the monster. The one that we're fighting over right now.
Oh, towards the spire? The captain's over there leaning against it.
Yep, that's what I thought. And I turned to him and be like, "Oh, hello, sir."
He nods at you and says, "Heroes will get heroes due. I used to be impatient like you as well. You've got to learn to wait." And he sort of taps the side of his face where you see a couple of, like, poorly healed scars. Heroes get a hero's due. Trust me, boys. It's worth the wait every time. And he gets up and heads back over towards towards Gotan, his wyvern, and he hops back on, and they take off into the sky and sort of begin to circle around the area as they seem to continue observing.
Damn, that was smooth.
The Knight Captain, the guard captain, sort of kind of has her hand on her chest for a moment as she sees him take off, and she sort of huffs a little bit, and then she looks back at you and says. She just sighs and sort of looks at you and, like, is waiting to see if you're gonna back down at this point.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm backing down, but I say, fine. But don't threaten us again. And then I head back to...
She rolls her eyes and nods and indicates for the other salt guards to continue their work.
Siegfried smirks and walks away.
She notices you smirk and she kind of just looks you up and down, keeps a neutral expression. You can't really, unless you were to roll insight, you wouldn't be able to really tell anything about what the gesture means. Sorry?
I'm talking to Siegfried. Do it. Roll it. It could be funny. Do it.
I guess I'll roll it.
Sure. Roll insight on the guard captain.
Oh, that's +1. Oh.
Yeah, nah. They just looked you up and down. You can't really glean anything beyond they were gathering information. So, things continue to get cleaned up. The salt guards seem to be working relatively fast. Double time, the guard captain indicates as she hurries them all up and they all rush about their business. Within about 10-15 minutes, they're able to get the centipede onto several carts and some salt guards supporting segments that there weren't enough carts for as they begin to roll it back up towards the noble district. The spire, as well, is being carried by 3 guards as well back in the direction of the same direction. I will say the Triton woman that had been with you all, I believe she told you her name. Control F, Triton. Whoops. Okay, where'd it go? Okay, sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're waiting for me to... Aqueous. You see Aqueous and Crasher Wave sort of begin to head back after watching the exchange between Zen, Siegfried, and the various about the spire there. They all sort of kind of are nodding. Zelphos actually is heading in the same direction, but like a little bit separated from the other two, just kind of staying along the line of the houses and like keeping his eyes up and moving around, sort of clutching his pendant of the slumbering serpent.
Oh, he's having an existential crisis.
Perhaps. But they're all heading out. Crasher Wave kind of waves towards you all, his signature move. As he sort of is going on his way and is sort of probably heading back to probably give people some rest, some ale, and trying to get things settled for the night. Will you all, or I will just say, unless anybody has anything in particular they want to do while the city is on lockdown, you all are going to return to the Waves Crash to get a rest, and then we will
Is that permission to loot?
I knew that's where it was gonna go. I knew it.
Shylvie wants to talk to the Triton dude.
Woman.
The Triton woman, sorry.
Yeah. So you're able to catch up to... first of all, as you're catching up with them, Siegfried, Zen, are you all joining as well, or are you doing your own thing?
I wanna take time to study the elemental, but I guess for now I'll check up on Zalfo since I was the one
This
that
is the one in the stone?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that as you all are heading back, you can observe the stone. Go ahead and make an investigation or an arcana check for me. Meanwhile, Shylvie.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been so frightened in my entire life. But everyone seems pretty much safe, right?
That would be correct.
Thank goodness. Zelphos seems upset. Was that... That wasn't an... That wasn't... It couldn't have been... That wasn't an aspect of the serpent. It's impossible. Right?
I mean, we had something much smaller and quite similar tell me that exact thing.
What? Oh, you've said. When you were talking to the captain, I didn't... This is...
If you'd like
This
to
is
talk.
beyond... And she sort of, like, opens her eyes and sort of... She puts her hand to her head for a sec, then opens her eyes and waves her hands, just, like, in a dismissive way, and sort of smiles, just like, this is much, much beyond what I am capable of dealing with myself. I am thankful for folks like you who can handle such monumental problems that arise in our world. Truly.
Would you like to sit down and talk about it for a little bit?
I would, but first I'd like to go back and see the little one and my husband.
Absolutely.
And you both continue back on in the direction of the waves crash. Zen, was that D20 the Arcana or an investigation check?
It was Arcana.
It was Arcana? Okay, with an 11, I'm going to say you can't glean any new information beyond what you have learned without perhaps magical augmentation via an identify spell or something else similar, unfortunately.
Well, don't got those.
Sorry, my friend.
That's fine.
The circular stone, the smooth circular stone still seems to be acquiring bits of dust, and then every 10 seconds shaking slightly, vibrating slightly, and the dust being tossed off of it. Siegfried, what are you up to?
I guess he's just following everyone back.
All right. So based on that, I will say everybody gets back. Shylvie and the Triton woman discuss. She is having a bit of a minor crisis of faith, having just seen what she'd seen, and sort of like she's questioning like whether her god is, she worships the slumbering serpent as well. You realize, and she seems to be having a little bit of trouble coinciding her faith with the monster that just attacked the city. Zen, you and Halo go up and sort of continue to examine the stone and sort of are kind of trying to determine what's up with it. You're unable to glean any additional information from it, but I will send you an item description if you were to attune to it.
Oh shit! It's the I needed to attune to it.
Yep.
God.
How many attuned items do you have, buddy?
I mean, I was gonna unattune myself to the Staff of Awakening anyway.
Okay.
I was just gonna, yeah, for the time being.
Okay, so you unattune to the Staff of Awakening, and you'll be attuning to this. You'll have to give me a minute on that, and I will take care of it.
Quick question: am I still attuned to the Star Piercer?
Did the Star Piercer require attunement?
I mean, you said I attuned to it. If it when I first got
it's
it,
kind of a weird circumstance because originally, yes, no, I apologize. Yes, the Star Piercer requires attunement. It is a magic item that requires attunement for its full effect to be taking place.
Okay, well, I'll stay attuned to it if I'm still attuned to it. And yeah.
Is that me? Am I making that noise?
Stop. If you're typing, stop typing and see.
I don't think so. Anyways, all right. So everybody goes ahead and gets a long rest, basically.
Cool.
We're going to just say everybody goes about their business. Everybody finds themselves an interesting night. I will start with the least, exciting, to say in one way, to most interesting. Siegfried, as you find yourself slumbering, your sleep is interrupted by a gnawing noise and a bit of a sharp feeling at your toe.
Is my salamander biting me?
Your salamander appears to be attempting to eat your big toe. How do you respond?
You do this to your papa?
Make your choice, Siegfried.
Chris is gonna try to intimidate it.
Okay, roll intimidation.
Dare try to eat papa?
You don't bite the toe that feeds you.
Oh, shit. Oh,
So 20?
fuck. Wow. It rolled a 19, too. Shit. Yeah, you glare at this salamander, and its mouth, which is currently around your toe, comes off as it slowly slithers back down underneath the bed. Next up in the order there is going to be Zen. Zen, you find yourself in a grassy field. It's a familiar grassy field, and you feel like very comfortable here. Like you've clearly seen it before. You get the feeling this may be what you see through the Starpiercer, this tiny, tiny portal that is ever present, caught between the spirals of the blade. The grass is moving, but there's no breeze. You see a little spectral, ethereal, kind of ambiguous form flying off in the distance. It seems lost, kind of confused, but then its body doesn't indicate this, but you get the feeling that it sees you, and it begins to head towards you. That's all you remember of your dream that night. Shylvie.
Yep.
You feel heavy as you sleep. You feel as though you woke up and you missed something the next morning. You feel like you slept through an important meeting at work. Do you know that feeling? Or like when you missed a significant part of the lecture at school and then the teacher calls on you?
Yep.
You get that feeling and it makes you a little nervous. But that's the only thing of particular note.
Oh,
All right.
Shit.
No, I left the oven on.
You do get the feeling that the blessing of the slumbering serpent grants a peaceful sleep. It prevents nightmares or dreams that would cause excessive amounts of stress. Things that might wake you up.
Oh no.
Anywho.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Moving on. You all wake up in the morning, fresh and refreshed, although Shylvie seems a little bit jittery for some reason.
Same old thing.
And you all are... It's surprisingly early, given that you all turned in a little bit early the day before because the sun had not quite been all the way down. You'd kind of gotten in early, so I'd say like 8 p.m., that kind of point. So you're all up relatively early. And you go about your day, and you all sort of day drink if you drink. You go about just doing various little bits and bobs of shopping and looking around and seeing how the city's recovering. A lot of repair work is going on by the docks. Many ships are being... the Sky Knights are assisting with repairs and towing ships off of other ships. You all see the clerics, I'd say the three clerics, the sea elf, led by the sea elf woman, all seem to be helping right the ships via controlling the waters beneath them. And Zen, as you are stopping by the docks to check on Captain Sydney, you see him standing before what appears to be half of a ship that's sort of sticking straight up out of the docks near the Coastline Health Complex. Not the ship that tipped into the complex, but in the same vicinity. And you see him, and he's just looking at the little middle finger extended gnomish hand and just staring at it, just looking down, kneeling. You see a couple of his crew members are sort of on the docks looking down into the water, not wanting to go into it, and sort of looking at each other and talking as the captain just kneels there defeated. You see next to him a small leather satchel, or relatively small. It's about probably could hold something like 3 bars of mithril, something like that. As he sort of is just staring at his little stupid gnomish middle finger extended hand. Do you interact with him at all today?
Hey Sydney, what's up?
I lost me ship. I lost me hand. I lost me leg. I lost me wife and I lost me ship.
Oh no, things got real heavy real fast. But you didn't
I
leave
lost
real-
my favorite member of me crew, too.
Not Tommy.
No, not Tommy, the little...
Oh damn, poor kid.
He's fine. Look at him. And Tommy, you see, is sort of with the other crew members sort of staring, and he's sort of like cheering on one of the other ones, just like a dwarven fellow who works for them. He's just like, hey, you could probably make it work, right? And the dwarf is just like yelling at him, just like, no, you goddamn what do you think I'm made of? Goddamn rubber? What's your and like they're just kind of arguing over there. Meanwhile, Sydney is just like, my boy, the contract I made. And he points to the bow of the ship, which is the bow is the front, right?
Yeah.
The bow of the ship, and the metal piece attached, which is sticking now straight up out of the water. You see all the runes engraved within it. And you see a sort of like kind of dangling segment of water that's just sort of hanging in the air from the top edge of the of this kind of icebreaker looking device that's sort of just got a little proboscis up and is just kind of looking around the proboscis like a little telescope. And Sydney kind of just shakes his head and is just like, I can't. It was pointless. It was pointless. This gentleman appears to be having an existential crisis. Zen, will you be doing anything with him or leaving him to his fate?
Oh, okay.
We will do a quick little thing for this just to keep things moving.
Yeah.
So just give me a course of action.
If you even want to just like save this until after we can, and we just say whatever happens.
Okay.
Happens.
Yeah. We'll just save it for afterwards then.
Yeah. I don't want to.
Do you comfort him? Do you do whatever? Or
I mean, I'm gonna interact with them. We'll just play it out after.
Got it. All right. Sounds good. Moving on. You all meet up for the day at the gates to the Noble District. Has anybody gotten any fancier attire, or are you going as is?
I think actually.
Shylvie mimics fancier attire.
Nice. Shylvie is in their finest. Is this half-elven form, or?
Half-elven form, and for once, instead of the tentacle hair that turns into a cloak, it's just a fancy-ish dress.
Yep.
I only have a pair of traveler's clothes.
Kind of what you've been rocking with underneath your armor.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna live how I live.
All right, cool. Siegfried, I can safely assume, do you roll up in a tux or are you going standard fare?
Standard.
All right, figured as much. You all see the Sky Knight Gabriel actually meets you all at the gate. Leon's superior indicates to you all, good to see you all. I'm to escort you to the Saltmire mansion. I will keep any of the guards from bothering us and just generally make the trip peaceful and pleasant. And he looks around and around, safe for everybody. And he turns around and sort of begins to have a slow canter in the direction that he leads you all. You all travel through the Noble District, the upper classy area. You see the finer residential housing with their columns and their ever-glowing torches, these sorts of more upper crusty type of trying to think of a bougie word to use here. They have a certain je ne sais quoi. As you travel through the district.
The hell does that mean?
Sorry?
The hell does that mean?
I think it's I don't know. Or no, that's je ne sais pas. I don't know je ne quoi. A certain I don't know. I don't know.
It's exquisite. It's really high class, fancy.
Yeah,
it's
super
nice.
fancy.
Fancy schmancy.
Until you finally come upon the gates that surround the Saltmire Manor grounds. you see before you, none of you, except Leon, who's not with you anymore, have ever been this close to the tower. It is absurdly tall from this perspective. If you've ever stood at the bottom of a skyscraper and looked straight up, it's kind of like that. You see, traveling in and out of various alcoves in the upper segment of the tower, a couple of Sky Knights riding upon Griffin and Pegasus. You actually do see one Wyvern rider sort of shakily take off, fall about 200 feet, and then roughly, it's tough to tell when you're looking straight up at it, and then sort of get caught by one of the ones riding the Griffin as the Wyvern disappears, and they are brought back up. That's what they call. I think that's the baby bird training course that they go through. Anyways, you all begin to enter the gates. And you see before you this lovely sort of, if I was to describe it, it's almost colonial in its design. This sort of very formal, but very, you could tell money. When you look at this building, this hundreds and hundreds of foot long building that sort of curves around, and to the far back, this secondary sort of smaller castle style or barrack style building connects to the Sky Knight Tower. The building itself sort of almost transforming into the tower on the far end. As you all enter, you see the gates before you. A gentleman in a standard butler attire, wearing a tiny little curly mustache with a rather pointed nose, indicates towards you all, "I will let you all lead you into the foyer, and we will be heading towards the dining hall, where you will all be addressed by my master." And they lead you all in. This place is lovely. Mostly white walls mixed with bits of the design. If I was to describe it, would be white and grayscale, with accents of this darker gray stone that is used in several different places. You see several portraits lining the walls of members of the family, all with name plaques and various sorts of like little blurbs and whatever. You see one segment of the wall that is purposely left blank, and you see the outline of what probably used to be a portrait there. And you see like a table with a potted plant has been put in front of that space. It appears next to the folks that seem to be of this younger generation of the Saltmire family. As you are led down the hall into a lovely ornate dining area. Not massively huge. It does appear to be big enough for, like, say, a rather large, like, I'd say up to 20 people feast. And you see at one end of the table, the figure of so many rumors, to say the least. The patrician of, the patriarch of the Saltmire family, one Artemis Saltmire. A grey, well-kept goatee is worn by this regal man, his age apparent but tempered, taken in stride. He typically wears, and in this case is, a variant of a white and grey and white speckled suit, standard garb of the Saltmire family. He's distinguished by his brooch, an ornate gold pin that spans upwards towards his shoulders in a web of miniature white gold flowers, and down towards his heart in diamond specks resembling spilling mineral grains. He nods towards you all, stands up, and formally introduces himself. "Welcome to my home, everybody. My name is Artemis Saltmire, current patriarch of the Saltmire family. I look forward to enjoying a lovely meal with you all as you regale me with your tales of... And you see a little twitch in his left eye, slaying, and a twitch in the right eye, the creature that rose from the seas yesterday. He slowly sits back down and indicates towards the seats, not directly adjacent to him, but like a half, like 2 seats removed for you to all sit on his end of the table.
Should we move our icons?
Sorry?
Should we move our icons over there?
Yes, I suppose we probably should head over to the...
Hey, bud, do you want to switch our icons with the new ones?
Oh, yeah. Let me just... I definitely saved them, so let me just add those in real quick. We have Siegfried, we have... Yep, there's Siegfried. Whoops! That was the wrong button.
Deletes it.
Nope, I just exited Roll20.
Oh.
So that's gonna reload. Let's try that again.
Control Alt deletes.
Yep, let's check OBS. Yep, that's fine. Okie dokie. Sorry about that. Alright, so there we go. That's what I need. Drag and drop. Easy peasy. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use...
Come here.
I'll just use this icon of a noble for his character icon. Cool. Let me just add that in. Boop. Alright, cool. And I will move us all where we gotta be in just a sec. Alright. Scrolling down.
My dog tried to eat a rock. She
Sorry?
found a pebble. My dog found a pebble, and she tried to eat it.
Oh no.
That doesn't sound good. I'm trying to see where you're moving characters on the map, but I am unable to. Just thought I'd make...
And I'm not moving them quite yet. I'm getting everybody set up because I'm a little, I didn't set up the map spaces beforehand, which was my bad.
No worries. Also, what time do you guys usually go to? I have East Coast time, so I usually like to go to bed, like, before it becomes 10 o'clock.
11 to 10?
What do you mean?
Or, I'm sorry, 11 to 12-ish?
Yeah.
We try to end at 11. Alright, so that person is not there. But I can use this icon for something else, so I'm going to keep it in the channel. This is Gabriel, who waits outside. Shylvie... Would you prefer this icon, Shylvie, or the new one?
The new one.
Okay, let me go get it. Boop.
The new one, shaded.
Nice. I don't know if I saved the shaded one. I'm pretty sure I did. I think this is exactly what we're looking for. If you all couldn't tell, Shylvie made new portraits for everybody. Yay. Okay, so those are the important people right now. So let me get this group of people and just kind of yeet. And we're all heading over to the dining room, or at least the main dining room. Whoop. Yeah. And you're all... Is Halo out and being treated like a person, kinda? Or is Halo kind of sheathed and being more of a sword?
Halo's in the sheath right now.
Okay, so Halo...
If it comes up about Halo can come out anytime. So.
Okay, I'll just turn Halo upside down to indicate that they're not currently... Also, they're not on fire, so I'm going to get rid of that green icon. Boop. Anywho, you all join Ultimus Saltmire at his dining table, and you all are presented by the wait staff with various absolutely fantastical dishes. There's a bit of Yaya Gleam wine present. There are various kind of fruit juices that you didn't kind of expect. There's this one that's kind of like an apple juice, but it's got like what are essentially these grapes that when you chew them, when you bite into them, they pop. Think like pop. There's a soda like that, right? Or there's what do you call them? It's like
Boba tea.
Boba tea.
maybe, yeah. It's kind of like that, except with a distinctly apple flavor.
It's juiced boba tea.
There are various game birds of various sorts that have been prepared, and the full roasts are presented with various serving things, utensils is what they are. Basically, a lovely array of fine meats and fruits present. A small bowl of soup is presented to each of you. It appears to be clam chowder. And yeah, so basically various lovely foods of several sorts. If you want anything in particular, you can inquire. But the bulk of, as this meal is being had, the bulk of it will be... Ultimus looks to each of you and speaks first to Zen. You there, Zen, I believe it was, correct?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I was told by one of the folks over by the Vale of Ressa house that you are quite the hero. A little bit of a combat medic, eh?
I just saw a man that was what at the time felt like our last hope and did what I could to get him back on his feet. I just wish I could have removed the curse myself.
I see. Smart man. Those Vale of Ressa folks are renowned for their sheer destructive potential. I am extremely glad... Excuse me. I am extremely glad, to say the least, that he was present when this creature rose from... Excuse me, sorry. A little bit of turkey in my throat there. Yes, it is especially noble to reach out in a moment of crisis for someone in need. We respect that here.
Thank you.
You. And they indicate towards Shylvie. I've heard
Yes.
a little bit about you. Not as much perhaps as I'd like. Do tell, what was your role in the eviscerating of the beast? He asked what your role was in the eviscerating of the beast.
I'm afraid that in the eviscerating of this one, I wasn't all that monumental.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't cut yourself short. If you didn't cast that spell on Halo, it would have... I don't even know what would have happened.
Halo?
I set your sword on fire and then hid in a corner. I wouldn't exactly call that an achievement, but yes.
Tactical, my friend.
Yes, I
A
guess that
tactical
you could say
retreat
that.
can be advisable under circumstances, especially when such a foe presents itself. Only a fool would rush directly into the maws of a beast. And he sort of looks towards the window and chuckles slightly.
I suppose you would be right about that. I tend to think and talk my way out of situations rather than aiming for the throat.
I see. And he gives you a slight nod of approval. And then he looks over at Siegfried, and then he looks at Siegfried's exposed chest, and then he looks up at Siegfried again, and he says, "And I hear you, pardon my language, I hear you're one scary motherfucker."
Siegfried smiles and nods his head yes.
Good to hear.
Well said.
It takes strong men. Strong of spirit, strong of will, but sometimes someone who can just whoop ass real good is needed for certain situations. Some situations are a nail, and the answer to a nail is in fact a hammer.
We can always count on Siegfried to charge at the enemy and to have our fronts, I guess, in this case.
That is great to hear.
He carries his own weight, that's for sure. And then some. Occasionally.
Oh, you asked about Halo.
Yes, who is this Halo you keep referring to?
Well, excuse me a sec. I'm gonna back up out of my seat and
And he
get some
sort of
space with him.
nods.
I please don't be alarmed. I say, Halo, come and show your stuff. And Halo rises out of her sheath and flits about, staying away from the big man though. We
Of
don't
course.
want to show any accident.
The sword flits about. You hear in your head, "Ooh, so fancy."
In my head, I said, "Yeah, money, weapons, go."
And
But yeah,
the head of the Saltmire family nods, and he smiles at the flying sword flitting about. He sort of puts his... he strokes his goatee a little bit, and he smiles, and then sort of straightens his face a little bit again. That is quite the interesting magical weapon you have there, my friend. It is no wonder that you were able to bring down such a beast.
well, it's less of the weapon and more of Halo. She's just inhabiting the sword. She's the best support I got.
Impressive. Not without some support of their own. And they nod towards Shylvie. And someone to distract, I assume, while things get done. And he nods towards Siegfried. He stands
More
up
than
from his
distract.
seat and claps his hands once. I think you all came here for one thing, primarily. Although I'm sure if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them within reason. I believe you all came here for this. And he snaps his fingers, and you all hear the doors open to the side, and a couple of plates are brought out. More dishes to eat, perhaps? No, but what is that gentle jingling noise? No, you all know the smell of gold when you hear it, when you smell it. But no, not gold. No, nothing so drab. Before you is a plate for each of you. With 100 wait, no, is that right? One sec, I have to see the conversion. I have to actually... He's giving you platinum. I have to see what the It's 100, right? 100 gold to a platinum, or is it 10 gold to a platinum?
It's 100 gold to a platinum.
Okay.
It's on the first page of the equipment section of the player's handbook. That's all I know.
Okay.
I don't really know it
Damn.
off the top
Cool,
of my head.
cool. Sorry, one sec. It is... Nah, it's 10 gold to a platinum.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
it is 10 gold
Yeah,
to
it's
a
10
Oh,
gold
that-
to a platinum.
We should tell Tyler that, because that's not what we were doing in his session.
Fucking
Oops.
whoops. Anywho. He gives you all 15,000 gold worth of platinum each. 15,000. 15. This is a big number for you all. This is more platinum than you all think you may ever see in your lifetimes.
That is 1,500 platinum pieces.
Correct.
I don't even have the capacity for this on my character sheet.
Oh, I do. I do.
All right, I'll write that
He
down
indicates
in,
towards you all this.
At this point, I'll just put it in features.
Yeah, money. You could just write money.
I thought you said 1,500 gold, not 1,500 platinum, because that's two different things, just for clarification of everyone else here.
Yep.
Yeah, but I
1,600
consider them to
platinum.
just... You can just count it as gold, but we can, it's... Yeah, you can count it as
We're
gold.
doing it without the math.
Yeah, no math, sad math.
Yeah.
Anyways, he spreads his arms out to you all and says, Welcome to my employed, gentlemen, gentle people.
Dig it.
You are all now official members of the, what did I call it? Let's double check. I'm ruining the dramatic moment because my brain is dumb. You are all now members of the Sea Monster Advisement Committee, the acting members of the Executioner Branch. Welcome.
I mean, okay.
We are sea monster slayers.
Yes! I like that better. The Sea Monster Slayer Branch. Yes, let's go with that.
The Slayers. Nice. Oh, about the there's two things I wanted
This
to...
is a forward on your first month's pay as well.
First month.
Yes, of course. This, of course, includes a bonus for active duty and bringing about the bounty, which you have. He seems to be just slightly getting a bit ruffled as he speaks about this particular committee and its purpose. He says, I am overwhelmed with joy, absolutely, profoundly amused by the idea of you all just absolutely eviscerating a colossal sea monster. It brings me so much joy in this old heart. Excuse me. Welcome to each of you. I will have... what would you all prefer? Capes, badges, or something else?
I look towards Siegfried, who often doesn't wear clothes.
If you want something each individually custom made, we can talk about that. I have plenty of tailors who could suit whatever you need.
I actually have an idea on that front.
Oh, do tell.
If we are to be dealing with oceanic creatures, you may want to think of something waterproof. For example, maybe an aquatic plant or some other thing that could be worn or grown on a small piece of clothing or cloth.
Well, that is interesting. That is more a Veluressa style sort of indicator there. I am a man of gold and steel and salt, but you know, that's the gold essentially.
What if we have like daggers? Why don't we carry daggers with the
Daggers
the
are good.
insignia?
My idea for the icon, and he sort of presents you all with a parchment that he takes from his coat pocket. It's essentially a dagger pointing straight down at a sort of kind of like a giant squid shape that's sort of making a circular shape, like the knife is getting stabbed down, and the circular shape of the icon is the tentacles and the mantle of the squid going like up in a curve. And he says, "This is my idea for the icon. I already have it on our only other member of the committee. Is he here right now? And this is where I'm gonna go ahead and grab our other friend, JJ.
Nice.
I'm gonna see if he wants to join back in. One sec. Here. Give me 1 minute. He asks you all. Now, beyond the gold, I have to just inquire if there's any little favors, perhaps, or any little comforts that I could offer these heroes of our city. I am, one might say, in a particularly a good mood right now.
We do sir, I can see that you're a man that likes to award when someone does something right. And we have some friends who support. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to, for one, send the signal to the Thiedlin in order to take down the beast, and then for us to finish it off. The coastline health conflux, they sent us out on a short little mission towards the Triton camp that is near the menagerie.
Roll an
And
insight check for me, Zen.
okay. Inside, I believe that's a +4. Oof. I got a 10. Did you hear me?
Yeah, one sec. Sorry, I'm trying to get him. And you got a 10 on your insight. You don't notice anything in particular of as far as his demeanor in reference to what you mentioned.
0.
Sorry?
0. I'm here. I've arrived.
What's up, bud?
Yes. You all, as you are listing off the list of people who have assisted you and how, what were you saying in addition to, like, listing them off?
Well, no, I was just saying that the coastline health conflux is the whole reason why we were able to find out the information on their weak points.
He smiles a bit more loosely than you would think. You think he's not really restraining himself as much as he normally would as in the discussion of this.
Okay, and their facility got destroyed through the storm. So if there was anything you could do to help them out. Oh, and can I get my spike back?
Spike?
The big black spike. I was going that Halo shot out of the monster. I wanted to
the
see
large
if
obsidian spikes. The large magical obsidian spikes. Sure, yeah, I can make that happen. Where do you want it sent?
Can you send it to the Waves Crash Inn?
Why?
That's where I'm currently staying.
Oh my goodness. No, we can't have that. No, oh my goodness. When you're in my employ, you live in the finest establishments, my friends. I could offer you some of the side rooms in the manor. You'd each have your own bed chambers. They're off
with all
on
due
the...
respect, sir, I find wealth to be not a lifestyle I look for. And as such, I would really rather to stay among my friends. Mainly the fact that I owe Crasher Wake a great deal and would like to remain as close to him as possible.
If you owe him things, then that is zero problem. I can pay off whatever debts
It
you.
is not a debt that can be paid off with money. It is an emotional debt.
I suppose now that you have as much money as you do, you will find that emotional debts are much easier to pay off when lubricated with the oil of industry, if you catch my drift.
This guy's great. I find him hilarious.
That said, are you quiet one there? Did you have any particular requests? Yes, for you, sir. I will send forth the. It was pretty big. Are you sure it's gonna fit where you are?
Well, I mean, I'm fine with a room. And if there's a forge anywhere, even better.
There is a lovely forge just down in town a little bit. The Sky Knights, perhaps I could inquire if you would like to speak to their forge master. And he could perhaps help you. The forge master himself was interested, although their artificer was particularly keen on this material, supposedly. Don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's an Aarakocra with metal wings. That's how I remember him. He's the metal wing guy.
Well, I can work in tangent with him. There's no reason why we can't both use the materials.
Ah,
And
interesting.
I
So he
also
could
have,
store it in his lab, and you should have access to it, perhaps? I could set
Yeah.
that up, no problem. No
That
problem at
sounds
all.
great.
He may even appreciate the assistance.
All right.
Learn as much as you can from it. If we can tear these out of the hearts of whatever creatures seek to destroy this place that we've spent so long building and fostering the growth of, then I am all for it. You have my full support.
Nice.
Sir, I would
His
I
head
do
swings over
actually
to
have a few very specific and important things that I would like you to hear as someone of such wealth and power.
He
I believe that-
smiles and sort of nods slowly.
One, clean up the harbor. The explosion of that ship directly led to the Leviathan existing. And it would be much safer if the only Leviathans that were to come could at least be reasoned with. This chaos wrought the thing.
Reasoned with? He recoils slightly.
I have talked down
Oh no.
an aspect of the slumbering serpent.
He stands up and pushes his chair out and looks you dead in the eyes. You hear a bit of a rattling from the portraits on the walls, and he looks you dead in the eyes. You see his eyes glint a light blue for a moment,
Oh, cool. He does it too?
and he looks at you and he tilts his head a little bit. He straightens his outfit and sits back down and continues to look at you. His eyes still, just the irises glowing that blue. And he regains his composure and he continues to look at you and says, "Do tell,
Very well then.
my Aseo
This-
friend."
Well, I'm sure that my display at the fight with that Titan may as well have led to it. This form is quite itchy, and Shylvie shifts back into normal form, albeit a more graceful-looking version of her normal form.
As opposed to the kind of monstrous sort of ooze
Not-
blob.
The one that we
the,
see, the
yeah.
one that you show us.
Yeah,
The not scary one.
The not scary one.
Okay. The tension in the room is still present, and you see he's begun to kind of wrap his fingers against the table slowly as you continue to speak. He's listening intently, his eyes affixed directly onto you.
So then, you see, as you are aware of the massacre of a Triton village not too far from the shores of the Ascending Menagerie, correct?
I was not made aware of such an event.
Well, that would be because we were the ones who found out about it. They're a collection of Kuotoa raiders and extremists of the Slumbering Serpent massacred the village, most likely for being peaceful and for materials to create an aspect of the Sleeping Serpent.
Pause for a second. Zen, Siegfried. Describe to me your surface thoughts. Kind of what's your general feeling right now?
Siegfried's been eating this whole time.
Okay, are you thinking about anything besides food right now?
Oh.
Not very interesting, but makes sense. Zen, what are your
Zen?
surface thoughts as Sylvie is talking about this?
To make sure that we include the bits about the demon how the worms that are demons and how the
Yeah. So
it's
basically,
the-
like, remember to
I'm
mention
going
the
to hit
demon.
on
Remember to
all of
mention the
that.
demon.
Don't
Like that
you
kind of
worry.
thought.
and then we can purify the water, and that'll might
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I know
You
how
don't
to
need to go
purify the
into too
water.
deep detail with this.
Oh,
It's just a
okay.
surface level kind of feeling.
All right, yeah.
Shylvie, you make a wisdom saving throw.
All right. I am particularly bad at these.
That's not
I'll
good.
double check.
Stuff just got real.
Stuff got real for me as soon as he said 15,000 gold.
It's forward pay.
21.
Ooh, you fucking... Good on you. Good on you. You feel an encroachment upon your mind as his eyes sort of seem to almost dig into you and almost through you into your very core, but you are able to resist it. And he seems to tilt his head ever so slightly and like lean back in his chair from his more, excitable position to a more relaxed position as he leans back. His eyes are still blue, but he seems to be less on the offensive right now. Continue with what you were saying regarding the avatar of the slumbering serpent.
She quickly comments, I have been targeted by detect thoughts before. Anyway.
He doesn't respond in any way.
Anyway, as I was saying, while this was happening, and the aspect of the slumbering serpent had come, where was I? Correct.
You had the Kuatoa slayed the village, awakened an aspect of that.
Yes, and killed themselves to create the final pieces.
Zealots.
That they were. And ones that did not even follow the true will of the slumbering serpent.
He exhales, notably.
As during our encounter with this creature, it noted three strifes that this specific aspect was dealing with. One was the Kuatoa that was still barely alive and struggling to try and get out of it, as they were regretting their actions greatly, as they should have. Two, a gnawing at its actual being, that there has been something leeching off of the slumbering serpent, something far, far worse.
Worse.
It's a demon.
It is most likely a demon. And three, that their followers are not, at least this is what they implied, that their followers, almost all of them in the Subsea Kingdom, are being deceived by something pretending to be it.
Deceived.
The
Deceived.
demon.
Let me tell you about deceit. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about... Do you know our history? The history of Arcanautus itself. Do you know about the years and years of attacks from the sea? These monsters
over 200 years
sent...
old, sir. I am over 200 years old. I am well aware of the wars that have been happening.
Hey, Shylvie.
Yes.
Try not to. Don't.
Sorry. My apologies. I
apologize for my friend. They're fairly.
Go on.
Hey guys, sorry for the interruption, but I gotta take off. It's kind of like when I should be going to bed.
Gotcha, friend. Have a beautiful night.
Peace out, man.
Thank you for letting me sit in.
No problem.
Sorry for
Hopefully
the
you enjoyed.
interruption
Pardon the
of your
slow pace of this
intellectual
one.
encounter.
No. With my
All right. Have a good game.
Will do. At least I think they might. We'll see. All right, he's gone.
All right.
The tension resumes in the air. There is a clear, sudden, almost like a veil of formality has been lifted.
No, I like that veil. That veil was nice to me.
It was such a nice veil, wasn't it?
Bring it back to veil.
I'm sorry, Zan.
Ultimus looks between you all and then just looks back at Shylvie, and then his eye kind of flips back over to Halo for a second, and kind of like he narrows his eyes at it, and then he kind of shakes his head and looks back at Shylvie.
Mm-hmm. Before tensions get worse, Zen's gonna speak up. Sir,
and he shuts his mouth and his head slowly turns back over to you.
Sir, we're all in agreement that the sea monster problem needs to be handled. My friend here, my friend here, as you'd guess, as a denizen of the sea, Are
they not a denizen of Arcanautus?
I am a denizen of the Ascending Menagerie. First,
and he raises his eyebrows and act like he scoffs. He says, "Not from the sea, not from the city, from the chaotic woods that surround it."
I am married to the dryad of the aspen forest that lies at the very, very top of it. And if you would like to use your detect thoughts on me to discern this, I am more than willing to allow you to. On this one occasion.
He seems to... Go ahead and roll a persuasion check for me.
All right. And then just double checking my persuasion.
Siegfried, how you doing? You still chowing down on that chicken?
Yeah.
Nice. Go ahead and roll a constitution check for me, Siegfried.
Oh, no.
No, it's not a bad one. This is just for fun.
All right. 1d20 plus 7. And, yep. Nat 20.
Oh, fucking ho. Siegfried, the chicken is scraped down to the bones. You move on to the pig. Shylvie,
Nat 20.
you see a bit of defiance enter his eyes, and he sort of goes to scoff again, but then his lips lower, the edges of his mouth lower, back into a sort of neutral expression, and he looks between you all, back at Shylvie. You are an interesting lot.
That's saying something.
I look forward to continuing to work with you all, but I would request a bit of loyalty. I would request that if you are going to be on my payroll and receiving such gracious boons, that you not work against the better interests of the city in which you find yourselves in. Arcanautus has survived for this long on the wit and perceptiveness, carefulness of the Saltmire family. You concern me. He turns his head towards Shylvie. But if such a being is connected to you in such a way, I dare say you can't be evil.
Oh, trust me, Shylvie's not evil. Self-righteous and arrogant, yes, but not evil.
Self-righteous and arrogant can get one killed if they are not careful.
Well, that's what we're here for, I guess.
Indeed. I advise you,
Zen and I
particularly...
trade places, being the person who holds the other back. And nobody can hold Siegfried back, with all due respect, sir.
We don't
wait,
need
could
to.
you say that again, please? I'm not sure if I fully understood what you just said right there. I heard it, but I didn't quite...
What I meant to say is so long, to assure him, so long as Zen and Shylvie are around each other, they'll probably keep the other one in check from doing stupid stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Fair.
and he nods, and he says, "'Tis the nature of the party.
Yeah.
Trust
As a
me,
dynamic I am vaguely familiar with. The knight captain, Pelgris, he has told me stories of adventure, of mercenary work, of the camaraderie and the trust that is formed, and I respect it immensely. And due to this respect and the context that Captain Pelgris has given me, I'm going to pretend that you didn't negotiate with that at any point. But if I hear anything about you doing anything besides acting against this creature and its interests, whatever foul things they may be, that seek to, regardless of perhaps what it says, drag the islands beneath the riling waves to the dark depths at which it slumbers, to use as a goddamn pillow.
Oh, that's a nice image.
I don't want to hear about it, and I don't want to hear that you're involved with it.
Yeah, easy enough.
Otherwise...
As long as the menagerie stands, I will make sure
The menagerie will
this
stand. The menagerie will stand for as long as gold flows. And gold, as long as the Saltmire family exists, will continue to flow. That said, your beloved menagerie would very much be pulled straight into the sea with Arcanautus itself, should this creature's interests be fulfilled. Remember this going forward.
I will remember this quite well.
Sir,
I would hope so. He looks over towards Zen.
So based on what we've seen, it would be in the best interest of Arcanautus if we were to detox the waters. It seems like
And he sighs at the second mention of it. He says,
because of the demon worms that are living in it that are tied to the sea monsters.
yes.
The seafood industry is collapsing, and Tritons
The
and
local seafood is inedible right now, yes.
We know a way that we can potentially clear out all the waters if it works out well enough in our favor.
He raises an eyebrow. Go on.
We have heard pray tell of an elementalist that lives in the southern part of the island, and we've seen actual proof of a ship that's the captain made a contract with an elemental through this elementalist, and his ship was able to purify the water around it and prevent. That's ominous.
To the south, you said.
Yeah.
Living near the end of the island, yes?
Oh, that's yeah, and this is making me feel great. Yeah, yep, that.
I hope your tongues are sharp. your minds about you, and I will pay for any expenses related to your journey. The travel fares, nothing more for this instance. You can rent... Oh, well. And he sort of kind of scratches his beard a bit, and he says, after some repairs are made... No, you know what? I'll give you one of my small... I personally forgot the name of the small scout ships. I could literally just say, I can give you access to one of the smaller, faster scout ships. You will be descending on the side of the Eye of Caesar. It'll be a much faster trip, slightly more dangerous, but you'll have a much better vessel, more reliable, more resilient, and I will provide you with some salt guard by which to use to guard said ship. They will not be leaving the ship when you go to see this elementalist, this hermit. I have heard rumors that have reached my ear as I've sought conclusions to various problems that have plagued Arcanautus itself. They have come up as one potential solution to these problems. I, in the past, have done my research, and I have determined that it is not worth the risk to myself and my family. If you all are willing to shoulder the burden or talk your way through a good deal, a deal that does not cost you your lives or your fortunes, then sure. Like I said, one of my scout ships is yours. Couple salt guard, yours. For the trip, and the trip alone. I expect to see you back in 3 days, we'll say. Should only take half a day to get down there. Maybe 2. Make that 4 days, just in case. I have some interest in this person. I don't know their name, but I know their nature. And I will say, do not visit them unless you are willing to lose something. That said, if you can cleanse these docks, make it so ships can more safely conduct their trade, I'll find something better than gold to give you all. How does that sound?
That sounds lovely.
Thank you, sir. We'll do our best. And if we see any sea monsters on the way,
You killed the shit out of those things. It's your job now.
I see.
Bring about teeth, eyes, spines, any trophies that you can gather.
I elbow Siegfried. Hey, Siegfried, the skull on the horse. Think maybe he'd want that, and then I rub my fingers together, and then I point at food, and then I'm like, and I'm just like,
oh,
Siegfried
and
didn't
sir,
understand a single thing you just said.
I say, we might be able to sell him that skull that we got from the aspect, and with the money, we could get cool stuff and food for the salamander.
oh,
Thumbs
Pardon.
up or thumbs down, buddy.
Up.
Zen raises his hand. We have a sea serpent skull. Would you?
As you are saying that you have this sea serpent skull, an older gentleman enters the room in a bit of a hurry. Sebastien, are you present?
Indeed, I am.
The patriarch nods his head over. Ultimus says, yes, Sebastien. It's good to see you, old new friend. We have new recruits to your order. New slayers of sea monsters.
Ah, good, good. Happy to see some new catches.
Yes, indeed. They will be going with you down to make a bit of a trip. I'd like you to go with them and record any sightings, any encounters with any leviathans that may be present in the seas surrounding the Eye of Caesar. You will be taking a separate vessel, joining them for a majority of the trip, although if there is a evasive monster that needs to be chased but cannot be killed, for example, you will be following it and reporting to me where it goes, to the extent that you are able. Does this sound agreeable?
Why, certainly. That's why I'm here.
Yes, indeed. I have to inquire. You lot, do you know anything of the nature of this creature beyond its connection to the source of most of the leviathans that have plagued this island over the years? Any unique characteristics? Because I do have a bit of information to share, as well as some advice, I believe, from our experienced captain here.
Can knock people unconscious just by being in their presence.
Yes, that is a common feature.
Its aura spreads throughout the water, and but it diffuses to an extent when it gets to land.
Drag them screaming from the seas. Sounds like a plan.
They can manipulate the water to an extent, depending on how large the creature is and its connection to the serpent.
I see. That obsidian anchor. We haven't got a ton of information yet, but the Veluvressa have told me that you, and he notes Zen, have informed me that they bind these forms together, yes?
Yes. Well, once it's removed, they lose their anchor to their physical form. Anything after that is purely just the dark mass. And from what we've seen, as the physical form falls apart, that mass also seems to dissipate to an extent.
I see. Sebastien, is this anything like the creatures you fought before?
Why, certainly. Everything that they've spoken so far is quite amicable to my own experiences, I suppose. I see no lie in what they say.
Indeed. Sebastien, go ahead and do you have your stats all set, right?
Correct.
And we rolled for that thing earlier, right?
He got a nat 20, whatever that was.
Oh, me?
Go ahead and roll for deception, please.
No problem. Just to you, or?
No, you can just roll in the chat. We're in roll 20. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he rolled the 20 earlier.
Oh, yeah, that was just me, like, dicking around.
Oh, damn. I was like, oh, something crazy just happened.
Yep. And Ultimus Ultimus sort of nods and indicates. This is the leader of your order, folks.
Leader? Fuck.
Yes. Sebastien here was hired on in light of a recent open space in a new order that I am seeking to bolster the ranks of, dedicated specifically to fighting these terrors from the deep that seem to be arising more as of late. He is your source of knowledge regarding these sea serpents and creatures, He is a man of many years on the sea. He knows what he speaks about, and I trust him inherently. Also, I'm paying him really well, so he has plenty of resources to throw around to get any additional things needed to exploit weaknesses, to track, and to slay, as he sees fit.
Nice.
You folks trust this gentleman, and he will lead you far. Sebastien, I leave them to you. The ships will be ready for you all by this afternoon. I suggest you make any arrangements that you need to make. You can leave tomorrow morning, but please send word if you will be waiting that long.
We should be receiving some sort of message from the Veluvresa family. They wanted to thank us for saving Seedland. So we're supposed to be hearing from them either today or probably tomorrow morning. So it should probably be best if it's tomorrow morning, so that
Thank you for the heads
can
up,
pay
then.
respects to them and see what it is that they can thank us with.
He does actively interrupt you as you're speaking and says, I understand. I will have them set the ships up tomorrow then for you all to head south. You'll be taking 2 of the smaller scout ships. They are a little bit quicker on the seas than is typical for what you maybe all be used to. Captain Sebastien here. You'll be leading the 2nd ship. Please do feel free to join them as needed or debrief them on what they can be expecting as far as creatures from the eye. You've told me you have passed through the eye at one point, so I'm sure you are quite familiar with the various sorts of indigenous larger creatures that may be emerging from the sea. I'm sure they are excited to learn about what they'll be facing. All right.
Yes,
You all can...
certainly.
Sorry?
It's certainly been quite some time since I've passed through the eye, but I'm sure I can bring up some of my past details.
Indeed. All right. I will leave you in the care of Sebastien for now. If you all need time to organize yourselves or what have you, there is a room to the north with some various washroom with various sorts of items for tidying up perhaps your appearances, or even just if you feel like having a quick drink before you head out, feel free to grab a glass on your way out. And he sits back down and begins to chop at a piece of some ambiguous, like, 3-legged bird meat.
Oh, and, sir. To give an indication of my good faith, and to give you assurance that I will not speak and use my ability to talk to these creatures, I will give you this one assurance. In the case that I do something of that, I would like to request that you hang me from one of the trees at the base of the menagerie. Does this sound agreeable?
We don't hang people in Arcanautus. And he continues to cut his meat, put some in his mouth, uncork a thing of table salt, like unscrew the top off of some table salt, stares at you, and pours it onto the chicken before pushing it to the side, and a servant takes it away.
Well,
Then I will do it myself, and you will have to deal with me no longer.
Pardon the ambiguity. Salt. And he gets up and says, have a wonderful day, everybody. The captain will see you out. And he heads out the rear door of the room. Sorry?
Zen is just like, son of a...
I am sorry,
Shylvie, you are aware that would suck super bad.
Uh-huh. if it wasn't for the fact that I can fit through, if it wasn't for the fact that I can just fit through a noose, and it's a complete fake suicide.
Shylvie,
Oh, totes my goats, but his as a side note, his eyes never stopped glowing that blue color as he made the threat with his salt shaker.
Mm-hmm.
His
Shylvie.
aggressive over-salting of his bird.
Oh boy. Yeah.
You couldn't just be amicable. You couldn't.
The captain stands in the doorway, sort of looking at you all and sort of at a bit of a loss.
You couldn't just
Captain, you've never been in charge of delegating an adventuring party or like advising them on this sort of thing. You're not quite sure what to tell them, but you can think of a couple things.
Okay, Zen, out of character, I'm really sorry for that. I couldn't help but get super in character for that.
It was brilliant. Never apologize for something like that.
I mean, totally made sense.
Don't you ever apologize for good playing.
No, I was half considering asking for just the badge and then shatter it and jump out the window.
Zen would have. Oh my god! So, and this is this towards you like out of character. No, that I totally get it 100%. But in character, Zen wants to wring your slimy neck.
That won't do anything.
He knows. He knows. That makes it worse. He's like, he's like, these goddamn fish people just can't be agreeable ever. They can't.
Hey, Ultimus made a suggestion, kind of threat near the end there, as far as punishment.
Zen wasn't paying attention. He was just.
Did you not get that? Like, I kept being.
No. I got it.
Okay, everybody else got it.
Yeah, Zen wasn't paying attention. He was just like.
So Shylvie just got it.
If I just put my sword straight through her
I want to
head,
say, Shylvie in character, you just realized what he was saying.
I just put my sword straight through Shylvie's head right now. What would happen? But yeah, in regards to the captain, Zen would look towards him.
Sebastian.
Shylvie is going to use some of her vast money to attempt to obtain a scroll of sending.
Ooh.
Why don't you just get a sending stone? That's definitely a lot more useful.
The spell sending. Does a sending stone, you need another stone on the other end. And that would require delivering it
a bit of a trip.
A bit of a trip.
A bit of an extremely dangerous, hilariously dangerous trip.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I see. I understand what you're talking about now. Okay, never mind. But yeah, what's the captain got to say?
So, as a side note,
contact with
his wife.
Thea immediately.
The captain sort of just kind of stands there as these three are kind of like speaking rapidly at the table. You've all been invited to leave as the captain stands in the doorway to sort of essentially kind of at least what Ultimus said was to debrief you on what to expect from the Eye of Caesar. For context, Sebastian, the Eye of Caesar is a big, chaotic... Oh, wait, he messaged me.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I was... sorry. So I was about to just say it out loud. Basically, the Eye of Caesar is a giant... It's a place that It's the place where the meteor that got dropped by the Chaos God that created these series of islands that used to be one big island.
A magic black hole.
Not really that. It's more like the opposite of a black hole. It's constantly spitting out chaos energy.
A white hole.
A giant white hole.
It's a supernova.
A chaos supernova of sorts. That it causes the seas to be filled with magical creatures. It is what caused the menagerie to form. It is essentially the source of all the magical goodness that perforates the area that is Arcanautus.
And I would imagine the badness as well.
Oh, you better fucking believe it. The closer you get to the Eye of Caesar, the bigger and more limbs everything has.
We got attacked by a turtle that shoots lava and ice out of its back. It's filled with darkness. It's filled with badness.
Well, nah, that's on the outside
Wait.
coast. We're talking
Wait,
about the inner coast.
Hey,
Was
man.
the turtle named Turtle Roki?
No.
I made that joke.
He did make that
We
joke.
also
I
made
fucking
a
made that
black
exact
don't
joke.
worry
Fucking
about
high
it.
five cross Discord, buddy. Nice.
Yeah.
So if the captain's not gonna say anything, Zen's just gonna say something. So yeah,
Yeah.
You guys.
you're not gonna really you could debrief us or whatever, but like I could tell you, at least one of us will very rarely listen to what you tell him to do. So it's better to just go with the flow. We get things done. Where's my room?
Well, first off, as the captain of this newly formed party of you, fine gentlemen, and myself, whatever our successes,
The sea
or
monster.
failures-
This is the sea monster slayer branch of the sea monster advisement committee.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's just call ourselves the Slayers.
Sure.
regardless, these slayers, as the patriarch of the household has said, I am in charge of the slayers. As
Yep.
such, I will take any of the success that comes from this. Regardless, your room is upstairs, third on the right.
Whoa. Oh, thank you, by the way. Thank you for telling me where my room is. That's very polite of you. But also, you're trying to say you're gonna take all the credit for everything we do?
Well, as the head of the council, of course I am.
I see.
It
I
is
see.
my duty, and I'm being paid quite a fair amount to ensure that all of these successes are quite remarkable.
I look at
so myself.
I turn to Siegfried. So it sounds like he's gonna take food out of your salamander's mouth.
I wouldn't go so far.
Siegfried stands up.
Oh no.
I know how this man works.
Okay.
I know what. I know just
for,
what to
for
say.
context.
Probably going to.
Say
The
again,
Saltmire.
Shylvie.
Nothing. I actually am gonna DM you something real quick because
Okay.
things are starting to make me a little bit worried.
Okay.
You know what? You know what, Siegfried? Wait one second. He just doesn't get the importance of your salamander being fed, and he doesn't get it. So let me just explain.
For
it to him. So, yeah.
context, Sebastian, you have no idea what he's talking
I have-
about right now.
Yeah, don't worry.
I
am coming in here as someone who has just arrived.
like literally in game and out of game.
Quite.
So
But
like the confusion that you're feeling right now is completely justified within the story.
Yeah, don't worry.
yeah, you didn't expect to
have
have people working for you. Also, side note.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm aware.
You thought you were just gonna be sitting back and getting to enjoy an advisor position, fucking get that pension, fucking live it nice.
Buy some
yeah.
nice whores on the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whores.
Yeah. Whores.
So like I'm trying to like talk down Siegfried. Let's explain it to him. So yeah, here's how it's gonna go, buddy.
All right.
You're in charge. You could tell us all the things of your expertise, debrief us or whatever. We're gonna do our job either way. You could take credit for what you do. We're gonna take credit for what we do. So if you want a part of that, you're gonna have to participate. You are, and he does air quotes, in charge, but we're not. How
Don't
should
worry,
I say this?
I understand
not-
you are. I understand you are all together in this. You all have your own roles in what you do. I'm not trying to step on anything. I'm just trying to make certain that we understand that whatever the final outcome, the main credit goes to me. I will make sure to distribute all goods as appropriate.
Wait.
Evenly.
Wait, did you just say you're gonna put hands on our loot?
What?
He will be useful, and he is a member of the party now. He is one of us.
Siegfried starts taking out his great axe.
As you do,
Hey,
the portraits on the wall begin to shake. Siegfried.
Let's just
Let's maybe
Let's just get
take a
going,
step
all
back.
right?
Let's maybe take a step back.
Please.
Let's.
Captain, you do know
you
from
have come-
you do
Yeah.
know from your debriefing that any aggressive actions taken against people who live within the home result in the home security system activating. You're not sure what it does, but you know it's bad.
You want to tell us about that? We don't know.
You don't need to tell
neither
them
do
shit if
I.
you don't want, but from context, you guys can kind of determine.
Don't worry, guys. Neither do I.
I see. All right. Well, whatever. You know what? Fine. Whatever. Take credit for what you do. Apparently, the guy can read minds, so he's gonna know what we did. And God knows,
Sebastian, you've never seen Ultimus do that, and you have no idea what they're talking about.
Quite.
Because you didn't see, or actually, you saw his eyes were glowing blue when he left, but that's about
But
it.
I was given no context.
Yeah, you were given no context.
So, well, Zen just said that out loud.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So yeah.
So now you know.
I have a puzzled look on my face as he says that.
Yeah.
But continue.
So, well, you know what? Sorry, we may have came up on the wrong foot. So Zen walks up, puts his hand out,
Perhaps likewise.
and puts his hand out, and it's like, "My name's Zen. This is Shylvie, and this is Siegfried. We're all decent people here. We all want to protect this city, so let's get along. But just know this: we are actually at this point we are all very compulsive people. That one over there, the slimy one, they can't keep their mouth shut.
Shylvie or Siegfried?
Shylvie is the slimy one.
Got
Shylvie is the that man over there. I don't think anything in existence can read him. He just does things and don't get in his way. And me, well, I mean, it's fair to say that I have my obsessions, and we might be a little off our rockers or something like that. But yeah, we're all on the same team here. So let's work together here. This is also very blatantly intimidation, and we wouldn't want anything to happen where we get screwed over because someone that didn't do anything takes all the credit for all our hard work, and then that person gets fed to a giant salamander or something, something crazy like that, something crazy like that.
I have the most confused look on my face possible.
You've never heard of a salamander big enough to eat a man.
And that should
I am confused and very skeptical. I am very skeptical, but mostly confused.
I turn to Siegfried. How does sailor sound to Jormungandr?
Isn't it pronounced Jormunger?
Oh no, that's worse. That's so much worse than I expected it to be.
So yeah. All right. Well,
Big boy.
There you
All
go.
right. Let's just go to our rooms and handle our business. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
It was
Just as a
pleasure.
reminder, when he offered you guys the rooms, you had indicated.
I didn't. That was
Or
Shylvie.
I'm sorry, that's right. Shylvie had indicated.
We didn't
Shylvie
indicate shit.
indicated.
At that point, Shylvie gave up.
You know what? At this point, it is technically the captain's decision. He has indicated that you do have a room. Yes.
All right.
Technically, all three of you have rooms available here.
Yeah, I was gonna be like 2 rooms.
Shylvie,
yeah,
are you okay
three
with
rooms.
staying at the Waves Crash? Or
Absolutely.
okay.
This is closer to the forge, so this is better for me.
Yeah. This will be interesting. I'll try to avoid splitting the party as best as possible, but we'll say you all meet up for adventures and for, like, necessary activities and stuff.
Well,
and
where does
everything, so.
Siegfried prefer?
Oh, yeah, Siegfried, what's your preference? Are you thinking Waves Crash, or do you want to live the high life? Siegfried?
He got.
Sounds like there's a little bit of stuff going on your end.
He got disconnected a second ago. Reconnected. Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
So yeah, where do you want to stay? Here or the crash?
I'm gonna stay at the crash.
Huh.
Damn.
Diggity damn.
Damn. Well, whatever.
Oof.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Who has the bigger room?
This place.
I'll stay at this place. That's fine.
They also have more. They definitely have way more food.
All right. You all can. So here's the thing. Now you all have a little bit of time to yourselves to, with your new captain, technically, sort of discuss plans, the situations present, events moving forward. Speak to each other regarding concerns that may be arising. I will say for now, would you all like to meet back at the Waves Crash for the day? Or will you all hang out here for a little bit?
I mean, I don't think it. I mean, we're already here. I don't know.
Indeed. I will say, would you all like to check out your rooms real quick?
Sure.
I'm getting a lot of echoing.
I'm not getting any on my end.
Yeah, I'm not getting any either.
Can you hear it right now?
Yeah, okay, now it's fine.
All right.
Cool. All right, sorry about that.
I'm guessing our rooms are like these ones up here.
Yeah. It's basically these three.
Yeah.
You're all adjacent. So yeah.
So first thing that comes to Zen's mind is shit. We didn't get to sell him the skull. Damn.
That is true. You still have the skull. I'll say your horses are outside, are kept within the mansion has its own what is it called? Place where you keep horses. Stables. The mansion has its own stables.
All right. But yeah, concerns. I mean, that didn't end up as amicable as I would have wanted. Looks at slime person, but I mean, we definitely. I don't know. We're getting paid. We got a ride down to. What is that?
Shylvie's doing something.
I see. We got a ride down to where we need to go. Though it seems like it's going to be a lot shittier of a thing than I thought it was originally going to be. We should be prepared for the worst in regards to sea monsters and, you know, the elementalist himself. Given we might want to talk to Sydney. Well, I guess I would have done that already at this point.
You talked to Sydney and you learned that one of his crew, a gentleman that he had been rather affectionate with, ended up losing their life in a deal that was made with the elementalist. He described her as cloaked in shadow. This kind of being that you couldn't really get a beat on, but the voice came through clear. It sounded like it was speaking to you as if you were at the bottom of a glass and they were looking down at you. And that's the most notable aspects that he was able to indicate.
Okay. Well, that's extra ominous. But yeah, we have to be prepared for the worst. We have to go get Deb because Deb's supposed to go with us. Because we need someone to actually make the contract for the water elemental. What else? We should try to see if we definitely have to go back to the Waves Crash to check to see if we got our letters and
yes,
try to resolve that with the Veil Vressa as fast as possible because considering all their magical might, they can definitely give us be able to, uh, give us some boons, as they described it. That would be so nice right now. So, does anyone have any other things they want to try to do?
You see Shylvie's been ominously quiet as you all are sort of going about looking at the rooms. They're lovely rooms. There's a chest for storing your various materials. There's a, in the corner, there's a little, what appears to be a self-refilling bucket of water, or like a little fountain of water. There's a wardrobe, a lovely wardrobe, and some... If any of you touch the sheets on the bed, you realize that, wow, these are really nice. Basically just a very, very upper class sort of very luxury accommodation, something beyond what any of you have seen before, even, in the instance that you were, in the little time you spent in the Yaya Gleam, you still, honestly... This is how the 1% live, apparently, or at least how they sleep. Indeed.
Shylvie, you might be able to get that that scroll from the
Veluvressa.
the Veluvressa family. They said that we can specifically ask for certain things, so you can ask for that as one of the things.
Depending on how the Veluvressa thing goes, they're they're a specifically magical family.
Yeah.
They maybe, just maybe, I can regain a teeny bit of my very, very small amount of trust of nobility right now. Because I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. Shylvie is like almost 2 sentences away from NPCing herself.
NPCing.
Express Sylvie's expression that she is giving towards this party. Is she going to attempt to communicate with them at all regarding how they feel?
She feels honestly incredibly conflicted right now, and extremely...
I will say, in character, does she reveal such things?
In character, really, she just says, I'm worried and scared, and I haven't been able to talk with my wife in a really, really long time. I need to get a Scroll of the Ascending spell yesterday.
Well, let's go check at the Waves Crash to see if those letters came in. If
Indeed.
not, if it's really that pressing, maybe we could just head to where they live.
You all begin to head out. You do know that there is a smaller tower, not obviously as ludicrously tall as the Tower of the Sky Knights, but there is another sort of a 100-foot tall, more than 120-foot tall wizard tower that is connected to the it's more like castle-ish, like a small castle in structure that is kind of on the opposite, or I should say one of the outer edges of the noble district. This is the residence of the Veluvressa family, and you can see it from the slightly elevated position of the Saltmire mansion. Each of you, as you are heading out and you begin to head in the general direction of either the Waves Crash or the Veluvressa household, you all hear the fluttering of wings, of a bunch of tiny wings, and you all see doves, 3 doves, descend from the skies carrying small scrolls in their beaks. They land in front of you all and sort of indicating towards you all with their beaks and sort of tilting their heads and waiting patiently before you all. The captain has followed you out here in his confused state. And it's just, kind of hanging out with these folks who I guess he's now responsible for, apparently. Is what he seems to think, at least. Ultimus has now put these people under you, so it's now kind of your business what they're up to.
All right, yeah. So since I am physically just here in person, out of game, we're down at the docks, correct? Or
We're down. We're not down at the docks. We're still in the Noble District when this happens.
okay,
Essentially,
Some
like,
doves
as
had
you're
descended from the sky in front of the party and dropped three little, and are kind of holding three little letters before Siegfried, Zen, and Shylvie.
okay.
Yes, we.
Do you pick them up?
I guess I picked mine up.
You pick yours up, the dove flies away.
Guess Siegfried's gonna pick his up too.
You pick yours up, the dove flies away. Shylvie?
Yep, I pick
Do
up
you
my
pick
letter.
yours up? You do. The dove flies away. Do you open the letters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You open the letters, and you see before each of you a small rune etched within. It glows brightly as your eyes connect with its image and trace the lines around it. Each of you gets essentially a minor wish. Anything worth less than 1,000 gold, an item, an object, what have you, or a minor effect that could alter your own personage, something you own, or something that you are, can be altered. Any effect capable of from a 6th level spell or lower can be replicated immediately or when you so choose via this rune, but you have to decide now. If you give me a general gist of what you would like the effect to be as your eyes glance over this rune, you just tell me what kind of effect you want most, and I will write it down, and we could always look up a spell for it later.
So you said it can only be an item worth 1,000 gold or less.
1,000 gold or less, yeah, but it just appears.
Could I?
You have a little bit to kind of consider this.
So this spell's a one-time thing?
It appears so.
And we can
Something
alter.
at 6th level or lower.
As you all hear a little message in your heads
This
as
is-
you open the scroll and your eyes glance over the rune and you feel this surge of magic coming through you. You hear in each of your minds the voice of Theedlin, the elf who was saved during the battle. You hear, "A favor, a boon, for those who saved my life. I owe you all much, and hopefully this repays, at least in part. I wish you all the best."
Zen is thankful, but he's also like, God damn it! I was gonna ask for a weapon worth way more than 1,000 gold. Theedlin.
As a reminder, you can alter an existing weapon via this spell.
Oh, this is. Wait. So...
You are all now level 5.
Ooh, cool.
And that is where we are going to end. As this magic flows through your minds, you all feel a sudden clarity. You now have time to think about your minor wish, as well as level up. And I
All
think
right.
you all holding these scrolls is where we're going to end tonight's session.
All right.
Alright.
I know what Shylvie's wish is going to be.
We will discuss those off camera, and we will then
reveal them next
reveal
time?
them at the start of next session. I'm greatly excited for this. Just out of curiosity, will our new friend and captain, Sebastien, will be joining us next week, do you think? On Tuesday or nah?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything in particular most nights, so...
Cool. Obviously, you'll be interacting from the start next time, so you'll have a little bit more time. I'm sorry we couldn't expedite. I'm not super good at expediting, unfortunately.
Hold on. I am going to have
Plus.
to really closely check something.
Okay. I am going
The
to...
alter memory spell.
Whoop! Hey, come on now.
Ooh.
I mean, yes, you can do that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.
So would